Hello, everyone. It's Charlton, and it's another very big news story. It's a big news day today. It's absolutely going to be in the news tomorrow. There's already an emergency Security Council meeting called at the UN. Nikki Haley tweeted, and it's over tensions in the over the Strait of the Kerch Strait, which here's Crimea, here's mainland Russia, here's Ukraine, the Black Sea, Kerch Straits, and this is the Sea of Azov, something like that. And I'll show you another picture over at the Daily Mail. There's some video of it as well, various videos. But the Russian Navy has seized 3 Ukrainian vessels. One's a tugboat, and the other are 2 what looks to be like small warships, artillery vessels, but they're Navy vessels of the Ukrainian Navy, and they were trying to pass through here. Russia says without authorization. It's not, I mean, Russia pretty much does whatever the hell they want, and this is going to be pretty interesting how this develops, and to see. I mean, this will be an interesting test for Trump to see what he does. And I have a feeling he's not going to have any of this. It's a huge mistake for Obama to basically do nothing and allow them to have such an important body of landmass, Crimea, which was Ukraine. Ukraine's massive. I never realized how big, in fact, Ukraine is. This is Crimea down here. Here is Ukraine. This is Russia. And you have the Black Sea, the Sea of Azov, I think it's called. Very valuable real estate. Anything that's near, transportation waterways. So, and this is Crimea that Russia took over. And actually, the eastern part of Ukraine, it still has Russian separatists that continue to basically. It's not in full control of Ukraine, as I understand it. And what, and the little I've learned, just kind of reading a couple different articles about this, is this bridge here, and I'll show you some video, which goes from that across that strait, connecting Crimea to mainland Russia. This was recently completed, and basically by Russia. Huge, very expensive infrastructure project. But once they've done that, this has emboldened Russia to continue, its encroachment on Ukraine, and now this gives them further control of the strait and the Sea of Azov. And what it does, it could isolate portions of eastern Ukraine where the Ukrainian government isn't that strong to begin with. That borders Russia. It's a hairy situation for sure. So this is a major city, Mariupol. Sea of Azov, Crimea, Russia, Kerch Straits. This is what we're talking about right here. This little point of entry that caused this incident. And here, let me show you video that the Ukrainian authorities have, but it's on the Russian vessel ramming this tugboat, which is one of the 3 vessels that were seized by the Russian Navy. I don't know if this is another vessel, another Ukrainian vessel that was taken or not. I don't think it is. So, but somehow the Ukrainian authorities were able to intercept this video, and they're claiming, according to this translation, it'll be used as, in international court, because this is obviously a violation of international law. According to a treaty in 2003, the Sea of Azov and the Kerch Strait are international waters that, the Russians, it's not their right to police. It's not their water. They don't have a right to it. And so them doing this is, they're breaking international law. And obviously the Ukrainian president is calling for action and for help from the international community, the European Union, and from help from the United Nations. here's the video. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it just totally rams right into this tugboat, and it's nuts, man.
Зажимай, давай, молодец. Дави его справа. Дави справа, блядь. Дави, я его здесь приму, блядь. Прижимай, руль прямо. Есть руль прямо. Давай, давай, блядь, прижимай его, блядь. Лево 5, лево 10. Стой, машина. Стой, машина.
Есть лево стопе.
Лево на борт.
Есть лево на борт. Руль лево на борт.
Назад. Назад, блядь. Назад.
Даю назад.
Давай, блядь. Давай, блядь, держаться всем, блядь. Сука, блядь. Лево на держаться.
На борту.
Так,
8:21.
Машина 4 вперед. Лево на борт.
На борту. Лево.
Машина. Назад. Стоп, машина.
Есть. Руль лево на борту.
So, you know, that's it's pretty crazy, and I believe that other white vessel is one of the other three, you know, Ukrainian naval vessels that was seized by the Russians. They literally boarded it, and I think some of the Ukrainian sailors were injured. One report said 3, another that seemed to have grown to 6, you know, but it's not real clear to me if the Ukrainian sailors are you know are prisoners of the Russians that took the vessels, possession of the vessels to begin. You know, it's just not real clear to me. You know, it's pretty crazy. Here's some, before I read through a little bit of this, and there's actually some other video of Russian jets flying across this bridge, you know, right in the area. I mean, there's a pretty large military presence here. You know, it's a little crazy.
Службы ФСБ России принимаются все меры к обеспечению безопасности движения. Сейчас пограничная служба ФСБ России.
All right, so and that looked like something like what I believe. That right there is what I think is one of the two small artillery vessels of the Ukrainian Navy that were taking possession of the Russians, I believe. But I might have that wrong. So Fox News actually sort of reported on this pretty well. It's a pretty long report. It's a pretty big situation that's going on. Russia's military opened fire and seized 3 Ukrainian naval vessels in the Black Sea off the coast of Crimea Peninsula Sunday, Ukraine's military said. Ukraine's Navy said Russian Coast Guard crews boarded 2 naval artillery boats and a tugboat and seized the vessels. The Navy also said that 2 crew members were wounded, though their condition were not immediately known. I mean, if they took the vessels, what happened to the crew of those vessels? I mean, that's a question I have, and I don't think that's answered in any of these reports. Early Sunday, Russia and Ukraine traded accusations over another incident involving the same 3 vessels. The incident began after Ukraine Navy claimed a Russian Coast Guard vessel rammed the tugboat, which was escorting the 2 artillery boats from Odessa on the Black Sea to Mariupol in the Sea of Azov via the Kerch Strait. Russian Coast Guard vessels carried out openly aggressive actions against Ukrainian Navy ships, the Ukrainian Navy's statement said. The Kerch Strait is the only passage into the Sea of Azov. Beyond it, the strait is crossed by the recently completed Kerch Bridge connecting Crimea to Russia. Transit under the bridge has been blocked by a tanker. This giant tanker has been positioned there, I think, by the Russians to basically prohibit anybody from going through there. I don't know how long that tanker's been positioned there, or if it's been positioned there ever since the bridge has been finished. The completion of the bridge, to the best of my knowledge, is recent, and that's why I think the Russian Navy's been feeling pretty bold about taking these actions. So transit under the bridge has been blocked by a tanker ship, and dozens of cargo ships awaiting passage are stuck. Russia has not given any indication of how long it will keep the strait blocked off, but a long-term closure to civilian traffic would amount to an economic blockade of Ukrainian cities on the Azov coast. In addition, Russia's Black Sea fleet greatly outmatches the Ukrainian Navy. So, I mean, I think that's the more significant issue here, is basically this blockade of all these cities along the Azov coast that are part of Ukraine, and it's a big deal. So Ukrainian cities in the Sea of Azov include strategically vital centers such as Mariupol, the closest government-controlled city to Donetsk, and Luhansk, the breakaway regions of eastern Ukraine controlled by Russian-backed separatists. So, I mean, this seems like a play from Russia to capture more, to basically continue taking more of Ukraine and making part of eastern Ukraine Russia, along with Crimea, which is basically a done deal. That's what it seems like to me. Russia's Federal Security Service, known as the FSB, said in a statement Sunday night that there is irrefutable evidence that Kiev prepared and orchestrated provocations in the Black Sea. These materials will soon be made public. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Maria Zakharova said on Facebook that the incident was characteristic of Ukrainian behavior, provoked pressure and blame for aggression. Though a 2003 treaty designates the Kerch Strait and the Sea of Azov as shared territorial waters, Russia has been asserting a greater control over the passage since 2015. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley tweeted that an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council has been scheduled for 11 a.m. Monday. This is the most dangerous movement I've seen in Ukraine in years. Tonight, a war that many people in America can only imagine, thanks to Hollywood movies, teeters on the razor-thin edge of becoming real. Tonight in Ukraine, we go to sleep not knowing what tomorrow will bring. This is Nolan Peterson. I have no idea who this is, but Nikki Haley retweeted it. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, after a meeting with his National Security Council, said in a statement he would ask Parliament Monday to take up the issue of whether to implement martial law over the incident. About 50 to 100 people gathered outside Russian embassy in Kiev to protest Moscow's actions, and it goes on. All right, well, that is the story there, man, and thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.